Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Today on the broadcast, you have Guy Moore, Tammy Harris, Jay Beasley, Keith Flournoy. Chicago Bears fall today to the Minnesota Vikings 29-22. How everybody's feeling today?
Melancholy.
I know Jay. I probably need to get the Thanos glove for Jay. I might as well just give it out.
Jay,
they didn't look as bad as I thought they were going to look. So.
But Jay, for as long as I've known you, this is the quietest that I've ever seen you. That's why I'm eating my ice cream right now. I'm gonna sit back and let you handle your function real quick.
You know, today it reminds me. It kind of felt like one of those movies where you start watching the movie and you fall asleep on the movie. And then you kind of wake up midway. He's like, "Oh man, this got good." And then the movie ends in a dud. You're like, "Man, that was a terrible ending." That's how this game felt. You know, the Bears was getting it. You kind of felt that they had momentum. And how do you get stripped when you just all you need to do is just go out of bounds?
Inexperience.
Selfish. Ain't inexperience. That's selfish.
I thought it was selfish too. He was trying to make something out of nothing.
Look, let me tell you something. That's a selfish play on that guy, because the bottom line is you're not going to score.
Mm-hmm.
You should know down and distance how many timeouts you got in that situation. When you caught the ball, you had the opportunity to run out of bounds, but you were selfish and decided to try to make a play on your own 50 yards away from the goal line. That's just a selfish play, man. That's selfish. And he actually took the ball out of Justin Fields' hand.
I agree with you, Jay. Hey, Plain, what were you saying about that play?
I can't really argue about that either. I mean, at first glance, it seemed like he was fighting and made a mistake, and people make mistakes and whatever. But after listening to Jay's review, I think he's right. That was a fairly selfish play.
Yeah, that's how I thought when I saw that play unfold, because as soon as he caught it, I was screaming at the TV, run out of bounds, right? Because, time was, I believe they had one timeout, and they were time, and there was nothing there. There was about 3 defenders there, so I was trying to figure out, like, what was he dancing about? Like, go out of bounds, So yeah, that's one of those deals where I think agree with Jay. He was trying to be a hero, and there was no heroics in front of him to make.
I totally agree.
But overall, looking at this game today, the Bears, this was a game, when you looked at the first half, 21-3, I did not think we would be talking about that the Bears almost won this game. At that point, I felt that this game was over. But when the play right before halftime, I kind of I felt like the Vikings let up on that point, right? Like they just had that game. And I think when we was texting, I was like, the Bears are a good second half team, right? And a defensive team. I said that because I kind of felt like the Vikings was like, we got what we wanted, right? And they kind of let off on that game. And all it took now was the momentum switching around. But as far as the positives in this game is Justin Fields, to me, we saw him. This was clearly his best game of his career as an NFL quarterback to me. What do y'all feel about Justin Fields' performance?
That dude was just, man. I just kept saying that a light bulb just went off in his head. And now you start looking at how he's processing plays. I mean, in this game, it's just like he was back at Ohio State. It was like he had a couple times where he kind of sort of held the ball a little bit, but it was understandable as I look back. It was some guys that weren't open, hadn't separated yet. But DGJ said Marquez Smith, his first name is Amir. So basically what it was is he's only really 1/3 Muslim. So he don't even have a Quran, and he eats beef. So I'm just angry. I'm angry for Justin Fields, because I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all can say what you want. we were going to score on that drive. We were going to score on that drive. And I'm going to tell you right now, Smith Marchette or whatever it was, you got 3 defenders around you. Unless you the Matrix, you wasn't going to get away. I mean, you learn this in Pee Wee football, and especially when the time is running down, catch the doggone ball. You could have laid down, it would have been out of bounds. But no, you want to get out here and try to be captain, save them, though. And everybody in the stands, even Minnesota's in the locker room right now, like, man, I'm glad you came up with that, because if he went out of bounds, we was going to lose that game.
Hey, Guy, what do you feel about that comment that you see down on the bottom of the screen?
He was picking up the blitz. He was way more relaxed. I absolutely agree, because it seemed like he's like that kind of Justin Fields at Ohio State. It seemed like now he's making his reads and progressions faster. He's looking up. He's got a little more zip on his ball, but just like you were saying earlier, he was throwing a little high, but I'm not going to critique him too bad for that. But he just looked like he put the team on his back. And that's what I saw. And I saw a guy, and I saw the leadership, the poise that he had, especially like in the second half. And I looked at him, I'm like, this is a guy that I've been waiting for, man. We lost this game, but I think in this loss, I think we gained something. So we'll see against the Commanders.
And I think Gessie actually called a better game today. He threw a lot of quick passes, which he wasn't doing that in the previous 4 weeks. So it got Justin in a rhythm. And I say it all the time. If you get a quarterback in a rhythm, good things will happen. Vedas Jones coming back today, playing a few snaps on offense, that was a good thing. But I thought Justin Fields played well. Like I said, I was at work, but I saw spots of the game. But I thought he played well.
That defensive play that the guy made on Mooney in the end zone, I got to give him credit for that. He did a great job, because that was a perfect throw, man. It was a perfect throw to Mooney. And, the defender was there. I'm starting to see a little more, and it's like now you're starting to see him go in his bag. I'm just really excited at this point. I'm frustrated that we lost, how we lost, but on the other hand, I like what I saw, and I'm excited to see what happens with Washington. So,
and just think about it. Who knows? Dante Pettis dropped 3 balls today, and the play at the end, I was confident that the Bears were going to go down and tie that game up. I was really confident that they had a real good chance to tie that game up. And this kid Smith Marchette, just selfish, man. I think that's what I'm out of all the good things that happened in this game. That's what I'm taking away from this game. You selfish, dude.
Yeah.
You cost your team. I feel like you cost your team a possible tie, at least a tie in the game up.
Hey, Tammy, as this game unfolded, did you feel that the Bears was going to go down the field and score on that last drive?
I felt it was a definite possibility. I mean, you were seeing more confidence in them come together. It was good to see Justin have, confidence. I said a couple of weeks ago that a quarterback has to have a certain amount of cockiness, not to the point of being annoying like some quarterbacks, but they have to have a certain level of confidence in order to carry that weight on your shoulders. And it was good to see that. I mean, like Jay said, Pettis dropped 3 balls, and that was annoying as heck, because I was like, man, this dude couldn't catch a cold butt naked on Lakeshore Drive in 20 below weather. like he's terrible. Like they need to put some glue on his hands or something. I mean, that pass to Mooney was beautiful, the way he extended and went up and got that. I thought the other one that was a little low earlier in the end zone, it was catchable, but I wish it had just if it had been thrown just a little bit better. It was catchable, but if it had been thrown just a little bit better, we would have had that. And it was good to see Justin run for a touchdown that shouldn't have been called back, because that was a BS call. So I think in the second half, the Bears were coming together a bit as a team, and it actually was a winnable game. And I think that, like you said, Bernard, they had momentum on that last drive. And there was a certain amount of team, spirit, togetherness, confidence that was kind of like brewing a little bit on the field, where they could have pulled it out.
I believe that might have been the same player that got called for the hit in the back.
It was.
Okay, I had to think about that time when you said that.
It was.
It was that touchdown run by Mooney. It was the same guy.
The touchdown run by Fields. It was Smith Marchette
That's
who
why I said
the block in the back.
the block in the back. Even though it was
Yeah.
kind of like an iffy call, but he
Yeah.
has to know better than that. That was him who did that. He made 2 mistakes in this game. He had a touchdown call back for a block in the back, and he had the fumble. Hey, Plank, how did Justin Fields look to you as this game developed?
Oh wow, Justin Fields. It looked like he turned the corner today. He looked a whole lot more relaxed. He looked calm. He looked like he was actually surveying the field. The opportunities for him to run looked like running opportunities is for a better versus him running for his life. So he was definitely deliberate when he went and decided to take off. And I'm going to get the first down. I'm going to get out of bounds. I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. I want to commend him for getting his first touchdown pass to Velus Jones. So I was glad Velus Jones got out there. It just looked like to me he was comfortable and he had command of the offense, which is basically all that I've been looking for this entire year. So I thought that was actually worth it.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this was, like I said earlier, I thought this was his best game of the year. And even though going into halftime, it looked like it was a bad game, right? Because I want to say at halftime, he might have only completed maybe 4 passes. But it looked like when he came out at halftime, when I looked at Justin Fields, I said, man, he looks poised. He looks like like Guy said, he's carrying the team. But to me, it looked like at that point, they was like, they played like they had nothing to lose, right? And it looked like he took that team as like, hey, we going to go down. Like Plank said, we're going to go down fighting. We not about to just go lay down. And that's what I gathered from him. He started look like he was seeing the field better. It looked like the game slowed down. He was taking those check downs to the running backs that had been there all year. He even Komet made a couple plays. I see somebody mentioned Komet. Komet finally showed up.
He sure did.
He sure did.
Hey, man, you know what? DG Daniel said Mustafa must go. Well, I just got this news flash, man. You know, what happened was they told him that they needed, since he had a bad game, he had to go over to the Mall of Americas and get everybody cookies. He came back, the bus was gone. You know what? He was that out of everything. I mean, him and Smith Marset, I guarantee they both gonna be on the plane sitting next to each other. Mustafa, we saw it last year, and you know, we're kind of sort of maybe giving the benefit of the doubt, just like we did Eddie Jackson. And I'll be the first one to say I was on Eddie Jackson's behind big time last year. This dude is playing. He is doing great this year, you know. And after hearing the backstory of everything that happened to him, I can kind of understand how it messes with him. But it seems like he's over. But Mustafa, man, that dude couldn't catch a cold butt naked in the Antarctic.
Hey, let's look at Justin Fields' stats. Justin Fields was, I had it in front of me. He was 15 out of 21, 208 yards passing, 1 TD, no interceptions, 118 passer rating. That's solid. That's very solid.
Yeah.
Especially when you're down by 18 points at halftime.
Yeah.
Especially when you're down by 18 points at halftime. That's real solid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm seeing in the league though now, man? What's happening is being I hate to say it, I can say this word because it reminds me, but it's a candy donkey league. You know what donkey is. And I'm gonna tell you why. I was watching something as we got off. I was watching the Falcons Tampa Bay game. Guy sacked Brady. He caught him and he just rolled over. He didn't bite slam. Do you know they called a roughing the pass on this dude? I'm like, okay, so basically the Brady rule in NFL is whenever you get your hands on him, you got to hold him there, run to the locker room, get him a lazy boy chair and sit him in the chair and then just lean the chair back and count as a sack. Some of these calls that they're making, I mean, over some of this stuff is popcornish, man. And it's one thing if you're blowing somebody out and there's no decision. But a lot of bad calls that I've seen this year has basically decided to balance the games. I don't like that, man.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook. Hey, let's look at that Darnell Mooney's catch. Let me see if I can bring that up. There we go.
Taking a shot for Darnell Mooney. What a catch! Absolutely incredible from Darnell Mooney. A one-handed 39-yard grab. I mean, just a go and look. Oh my goodness.
Man,
Jay, you gotta break down what you saw, Jay.
Nice, man, nice. Concentration. You got to have strong hands that had those to make those kind of plays, though. And a lot of guys in the NFL are doing that now. But man, I mean, you can't ask for nothing better than that. And that's what got it started. You know, that drive right there was what got the Bears on the roll. Because right after that, that's when Montgomery scored the touchdown. Correct? Right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, and like I said, that the second half, the offense confidence just stepped up big time. Because I think they went into the halftime and was like, okay, you know what? We embarrassed ourselves for the first half. We absolutely embarrassed ourselves in the first half. Let's come out and make a good showing. And they did. And like I said, I was really confident that they was going to tie this game up. I really was.
Yeah.
Anybody else had anything about the Darnell Mooney catch?
It was just a nice catch to see. I mean, it was good to see effort. It was good to see a receiver helping Justin Fields out a little bit. We were talking when we were texting about the passes, his passes being a little high, you know, all game. So, and it was a little high, but he went up and he got it. And sometimes as a receiver, that's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I thought it was a great showing for Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields, but for Mooney to try to, quiet some of the criticism, because he got off to such a slow start this year, for him to get a catch like that, that did motivate the offense. It seemed like after that, the offense was clicking and they were very confident at that point. And to me, they were confident in Justin Fields, which is a big difference to me, that you are confident in your quarterback is about to put this game on his shoulder. I mean, for all us who play football, when you look at your quarterback, you know that look in his eye when he's ready, right? And when you don't have confidence in him, I know as me a running back, when I faced that at times, I was just like, give me the ball, right? I mean, but when I knew they was clicking,
Jim Brown.
you like, man, they calling the plays, and it's just a feeling you get when that quarterback got it going. What about you, Plank? What you thought about that catch?
Oh, I thought that catch was definitely separated him from the other receivers on the team, and actually almost announced that he's ready to go to a different level to the entire NFL. At that point, he kind of perked up a little bit. Justin Fields was hitting a lot of people in stride, which is something we've actually looked for this year. And it actually just made the whole offense look like a competent professional offense. The offense definitely looks different with D. Montgomery. I'm glad he came back. And I think it has more to do with him being able to pick up blitzes and some of the nuances that he does as well.
Right.
Offensive linemen are going to get beat, going to miss assignments or whatever. And you need somebody back there to do a little bit of personal protection. So I think it worked a lot better with David Montgomery being back. Cole Kmet looked great. Mooney was inspirational today. So I'm looking forward to him continuing to do that. And one other thing I wanted to notice, Mooney kind of called out the rest of the team earlier this week for lackluster play and kind of was a little bit vocal. So it was good to see him do that from a leadership perspective and then turn around and show it on the field that I'm going to lead by example as well. So I thought that was great.
Okay.
Talib made a very good point. I was going to mention that when we talked about the defense, but that was the first touchdown that the Bears defense gave up in the second half
all season.
Mm-hmm.
That last touchdown that they gave up, that was the first touchdown that they've given up in the second half all season.
Hey, you know what? Here's some more interesting stats too, man. I mean, it's not even as much as the yards. I'm looking at some of the receiving yards. Everybody that got a catch, some more Griffin Jones, that dude's fumble dude, ESB, Cole Kmet, Mooney, Montgomery. We talking about everybody, but our Griffin averaged over 9 yards a catch. We got Mooney with 26, Montgomery with 15.5, Kmet 11.3, ESB 12, Marchette at 1 for 15 yards. Velus Jones had 1 for 9. So it's starting to look like guys are starting to be more productive. It's like I'm looking at those numbers. It's like the yards are somewhat paltry, but by the same token, that's some progress though. You know, that's all I have. I'm trying to come up with some positive stuff because I'm thinking about that last play, and I'm gonna be thinking about that last play for probably the rest of the week.
You're right. And you know, one more comment about Justin Fields. I actually thought when he started taking his check downs, that's when I said the game was slowing down for him. Because, in my opinion, that's one of my complaints all year. That guys have been open, particularly Montgomery and Herbert, in the flat all year, where the teams were not even guarding him because they knew he was not looking at the check downs. And what he did today was he took those check downs, which became nice yardage and made second or it made third down more manageable. And then he had a couple of check downs that he threw to Komet, which made him feel good. And Komet actually ran like a big guy today. Komet is a huge individual. I don't know what his stats is, but Komet is
6'7", 260.
He's what, 6'7"?
260, yeah.
He's Gronk size. He is Gronk size, but he's always played like he was maybe 5'11", 215. But today he played like a big guy. He was making guys earn those tackles. So that's what I kind of like about what I saw Komet today, because it was one play he caught. And previous games or last year, Komet would have got tackled right there at that spot. Komet actually fought for yards on that play. And I know his father, I want to say Komet's father was he probably never made it off the Bears practice squad or something, but his father was a former Bear. Do you know, Jay? I think his father.
No, I don't. No, I did know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think Komet's father was drafted by the Bears or signed as a free agent, but he never made it out of training camp or something. I have to look that up to verify that, but I believe so. Because I know this week I heard him talking, and he was talking a lot about his father and playing football, and he was making a reference to the Bears. As far as the Bears passing game overall, did it look more smoother other than the drop passes? Because within those drop passes, I saw guys open. Did y'all see guys open?
Yeah, and guys were Pettis was open every time he dropped the ball.
Hey, somebody said cut his hands off, like Plank said. Hold on, let me find that comment. Cut Pettis' hands off.
So they were open. You just got to catch the ball. And I'm one of those people where if the ball hits your hand as a wide receiver, you're supposed to catch the ball. There's no excuse. And the passes that Dante Pettis dropped today, there's no excuse for it.
Look, you know what happened was it was a conspiracy against him, man. They changed the football when they threw the ball to him. This is a prototype for the ball that he was catching. Got all type of bumps on it. But no, you can't. I don't understand that though. How are you an NFL receiver? And it'd be different if that was a Mooney throw or something. But the 3 throws, the ones that he dropped, I could have caught. And they don't.
Well, they actually have a name for wide receivers who can't catch. They call them cornerbacks.
Right. Right.
Not that many passes. You're gonna be playing defense trying to tackle people next week. So,
those are blown opportunities for individuals like him because you have to catch the ball. I mean, it's one-on-one. Look the ball in your hands, catch the ball, and then turn and run or whatever's there you get, But he dropped several easy passes. And if you look back at some of these last 3 games, he's done it in the last couple of games. This is not the first game that Pettis dropped some balls. He actually dropped, I want to say he dropped maybe a ball or 2 last week as well. So,
and you have to maximize the opportunities that you have because looking at the time possession, the Bears only had the ball 7 minutes and some change in the first half. So you have to maximize, and those drops actually take the ball out of your hand, which means that's another possession that you're not going to have the ball. And they didn't have the ball at all in the first half, which is why they was down 18 points at halftime.
Right.
Hey, what's up, Mo, man? Okay, I see we got
Whoa.
some confirmation.
Yeah. His
Say
game
again?
was like,
I thought at halftime it was 21-10.
It was.
No, was it 21-10? I thought it was 21-3.
Yeah.
No, they got a
No, that's
touchdown.
what I
before
They
the
got a
half.
touchdown right
Okay,
before the half.
okay,
Yeah, that's why I
21-10.
said it seemed like we were down way more than we were, but we were actually in striking distance at halftime.
Yeah, that's why you said that. Yeah, because the Bears had it was 3-7 the first quarter. Going into halftime, it was 21-10.
Okay,
Right?
21-10.
21-10. Then
I know. I just know. I heard them kept referencing that they was down by 18 points, but they were because they was down 21-3 at one point.
mhm.
So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Then the Bears scored 9 points in the third quarter. The Vikings didn't score anything in the third quarter, and then the Bears scored 3 points in the third, and the Vikings scored 8 points. Okay, there is confirmation. His father's name is Frank Komet. He was drafted in 1992. One of the John Muhammad, thanks for the information. He said he was on the Bills, the Bears, the Packers, and the Browns.
He went to John Hershey High School in Arlington Heights, ended up going to Purdue playing every team he played for 1 year except the Bears. The Bears was from 93 to 95. The Bills, the Packers, the Browns.
I don't even remember him. 93 to 95. I really don't remember him. I mean, I was a grown man.
Yeah, you know what? He's probably one of them guys that you probably saw and just like, okay.
Right. But that third quarter was pivotal for the Bears, and it was a lot of it was. I felt like when they scored the touchdown, instead of going for the 2-point conversion, points are premium in this league. They should have kicked the extra point, and then they came out and they did the onside kick. I wasn't a big fan of that because I'm like, it was 8 minutes and 12 seconds left in the third quarter. You're down by 1 score. Don't panic. So you don't get the onside kick. So now you give them a short field. Luckily for the Bears, though, they did block the field goal at that time. Yeah. But those are plays that you can't make as a coach when your team has momentum. You can't do that. And that's just my opinion. I'm not an NFL coach, but looking just as a fan, I didn't like it because I just felt like it was too early in the game to show desperation for an onside kick.
Yeah, hey, Jay, I think when he went instead of taking an extra point, I think this is one of those times where coaches looking at the analytics and say, this is what the analytics say. But to me, you have to play how the game is playing and what your team does.
Play the game that's in front of you.
The Bears have not been good at the red zone. So why do you feel that a 2-point conversion will work? So to me, go and get that 1 point. What you have, Plank?
No, I disagree with you, Jay, and that doesn't happen a whole lot nowadays because actually the Bears ended up going for it on 4th and 2. So that actually changed the momentum because before that, the Bears hadn't had very many positive plays, and that's what actually led to them getting the touchdown. I thought they kind of felt that Minnesota's offense was actually taking advantage of their defense, so they were trying to do whatever they could to get the ball back to the offense as quickly as possible. So it didn't work out, but I liked it because at least the coaching staff wasn't doing what they've done in previous weeks, deciding 4th and 2, 3 minutes left to kick the ball. They were aggressive and they said, hey, we're going to come at this game. So it didn't work out on the onside kick, but I liked what the coaching staff was doing. And I like the message that it sent to the team that this was something to do as a more urgent thing.
Okay. Hey, we have somebody said they love the onside kick, so they agree with you, Plank, on that.
And they say because it was unexpected. Obviously, it wasn't unexpected because the Vikings recovered. I'm just saying.
My only problem with the onside kick is it was done at 8 minutes left. Yeah, that's the only problem I had. It was 8 minutes left in the game. I mean, 8
minutes left in the third quarter. 8 minutes left in the third quarter.
Wait, I'm sorry, the game, but still, it was at 5. I mean, I guess who could choose the time? But to me, it's like I know that they're probably trying to instill some confidence in them because the guys just came down and they did their thing. I totally get that, but I don't know. You on the road, I guess there's no. I mean, maybe there's no set time as far as that's concerned. I know you gamble, but it's just like they say. You know what? You don't go take your rent money to the casino.
You're right. Yeah, I agree with DG Daniels. Gessie is using too many empty sets. He is, because even on that 2-point conversion, if I remember correct, that might have been an empty set on that play, and the guy kind of jumped. He kind of like jumped the route right away, like he recognized that formation, right? Because he jumped that pretty early. I mean, he was on that play like from the time they snapped that ball. But anybody else on the offense before we move over to the defense? Because I'm getting a lot of positive comments for those who are out there watching about Kyler Gordon and some of the other defensive players.
Man, he turned the corner.
Anything else?
The offense, I would just say that, it was great to see what they did in the second half. But as we all know, football is 4 quarters. So you gotta play all 4 quarters. But it was good to see the positives in the second half for sure.
Yeah. I would say offense. One of my last comment on the offense is they got touchdowns today. Which makes a difference in the game, because it looked like they was about to go into that trend again with the field goals, and if they could get going a lot earlier, their offense of possessions are going to have to help their defense to some degree, because they're getting gashed. Just going over to the defense, they're just getting gashed so much on defense. And I can't say the wrong plays are called, because there are plenty of plays where the defensive player is actually right where he's supposed to be, but he can't make the play. Can't make the tackle. Or the guys on the end lacking discipline, right? They keep crashing down. You do have that a lot, where outside runs, guys are crashing down, and all they do is just bounce right outside of them. And we actually heard a Robert Quinn name called today. But hold on, let's grade the offense.
I'm calling them names.
You know what you about to say.
Anybody got grades for the offense before we move over to the defense?
I would still. I was harsh today, but I would still give them. I give them a B minus C. I give them a B minus C somewhere in there. They let Justin Fields play in the second half, and I thought that was good. But they just didn't have enough. They didn't have enough possessions in the first half. So like I said, they only held the balls for 7 minutes and some change. So they really have a lot of possessions in the first half. But the second half, they came to life a little bit. So I'm still gonna give them because of some of the play selection. I'm still gonna give them a C.
Jay, because that first drive by the Vikings was almost 8-minute drive. That first drive, so that was a real long possession. So you give them what you say, a B minus? C. Okay. What about you, Plank? What'd you get offense?
Yeah, as far as offense, I thought they picked it up. I thought Justin Fields did a great job of trying to lead. I liked what some of the offensive linemen were doing. I didn't like a couple penalties that showed that they came out from the beginning of the game and at halftime, and they had penalties both times, so that showed the lack of continuity. But overall, I like what the offense was doing. So I actually gave them a B minus.
Okay, a B minus. Tammy, how do you grade the offense?
I'm gonna give the offense a C plus. The plus might come in because of the second. They kind of pulled it together in the second half, but they only ran 47 plays compared to 74 by the Vikings. I think the Vikings had the ball like 13 more minutes.
Yeah.
So we still had too many 3-and-outs. Justin Fields did great, but like I said, Pettis was horrible. wasn't helping out and catching at all. But I think if it wasn't for Pettis and and Marset Smith or whatever, I probably would have gave him a B minus.
Okay.
But I say C plus.
I see Mo Man gave him a B minus. Hey, Guy, what about your grade?
Unless the Bears score 40 points, I can never give them a B as long as Mustafa's on offensive line. So I got to give them a C minus.
Well, most people ain't scoring 40 points a game. God.
But you know what? Let's put it this way. He's so bad, you come up with stats to kind of do it. You know how you had a teacher that like give you a curve, but it's this one dude that just is just so stupid. It's like his grades are so bad, it just affects everybody else. Just Mustafa's existence. Now, if you take Mustafa out if they took Mustafa out the game and they played this game, I would have given him a B-. But I can't give him a B as long as Mustafa is their center. I could get a sack off of Mustafa. Mustafa, you need to get in the gym, man. You 100 pounds more than me, and I could still get 3 sacks off of you.
Okay, I get an offense a C+ today, and I give Justin Fields a B as a quarterback. I thought he grew up today. Let's look at the win-loss records right now before we go to the defense. Jay leading the pack 4-1. Guy is 3-2. Quick 3-2. I'm 3-2. Tammy 3-2. Mo is 3-2. Christian 3-2. And Plank with a last minute switch ended up being 2-3. But Plank was more so just going against the pack. He actually had the Vikings. Right. Hey, let's move to the defense. And I saw some comments that I wanted to bring up originally. Matter of fact, let me bring this comment up I just saw. Give me a second to find this. I want to start off with the defense right here. Roquan missed a bunch of key tackles today. This is by DG Daniels.
Everybody missed a bunch.
Well, he missed 17 tackles. That's not a bunch.
Only 17?
Everybody missing tackles.
But you know what? With him, something I looked at too, yeah, he missed some tackles, but a lot of them, if you really look back at it, he was over pursuing guys. Because he had one where the running back cut back. Had he just stopped instead of tried to anticipate him going to the seam, he would have caught him because he broke back and he stuck his arm out like this. But remember, Roquan, payday coming up, brother. You got to make some tackles.
I say everybody missing tackles and they playing too loose. They playing too far back. It's just like what you don't tackle them after they get the yards. Like I don't like it.
I just felt like in the first half, the secondary was playing shell shock because the Vikings came out in that hurry up in the first quarter, and they was just running. That was like college. They was just running play after play after play after play after play. And I think the secondary was really like shell shock. But what I'm gonna get the defense credit for, and I said it on the pregame. I don't know what can anybody know what Dalvin Cook numbers were? Because I know he scored 2 touchdowns, right?
97, 98 yards.
Right, somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay, but what they did was what the Bears have been doing all year on defense. In the second half, they made adjustments, and I said on the pregame, if you make this offense one-dimensional like they did in that third quarter, Kirk Cousins is gonna serve it up, and that's what got the Bears back in the game. That Kendall Vildor interception got the Bears right back in the game.
Yeah, I see
that.
Yeah, I see Mo Man said Gordon had his best day as a defender. I thought he made some good plays. He made some good tackles in the open field today.
Yeah, he did.
He almost got that pick 6 too. If it had been about 6 inches lower, he was gone. And they said, and I give the announcers credit because they was fanboying the hell out of Minnesota. But then with that one, they were like, oh, you just see the anticipation. He's watching the quarterback. This is a brilliant play. If it's a couple inches short, it's a pick 6.
Yeah, you know what? When watching a game like this today, in my opinion, if the Bears defensive players put it on the line like Eddie Jackson, and even though Gordon is a rookie, if they put the same effort that those two guys put, I don't care how much if Gordon get beat by a play, he does not give up on the play. He's hustling. And clearly right now through 5 games, to me, Eddie Jackson is the best defensive player on the Bears out there on the field right now. It's not a criticism of Roquan, but your name is not getting called enough. You want to be in the top, but you're not.
I'm calling the names.
You're not making enough plays. Eddie Jackson, to me, is playing like a beast this year. Every game they played this year, I would say Eddie Jackson was the standout guy, other than the one game where Roquan got the interception at the end. Eddie Jackson has been earning his money this year to me. What you have, Plank?
Okay, so it sounds like what you're asking me is how do I feel about the defensive execution? As far as today, I'm all for it. that was the worst defense I have seen the Bears play in years.
Yeah.
They kept letting receivers catch the ball right in front of them. You had one receiver that was 11 targets, 11 catches.
They were
That cannot happen in the NFL.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, one of the comments that I made was that the offensive coordinator from Minneapolis, was way ahead of our defensive coordinator.
Yep.
That's what that was. So the entire way that he schemed that, he let the every defensive back catch the ball, had the receivers catch the ball in front of them, and then go to make the tackle. You had to, after you didn't giving up all of those passes, you had to get more aggressive, especially after seeing how good Kirk Brady was doing. I'm sorry. They had Kirk Cousins look like he was the all-time greatest quarterback in the world. So that was just, it was ridiculous. I almost broke my own TV. So I calm down, and otherwise I'm gonna have high blood pressure and Thanos glove and all of that. But no, the defense was not impressive to me. So what? They got better. They got the A's kicked
in that first half. Yes, they did. I totally agree. I totally agree, because I think Kirk Cousins was 16 for 16 at one point, 17 for
17.
And almost 200 yards.
Yes.
You just can't let that happen. But like I said, Minnesota came out with a plan, and it was just. And if y'all notice, every throw that Kirk Cousins made was either in the middle of the field or against Kyler Gordon. When he finally threw on Vildor's side, it got picked off. They picking on the rookie. That's what they doing. They either completing passes over the middle, or they picking on Kyler Gordon. And up until they get that fixed, it's gonna be a long season. It's gonna be a long season. But they made Kirk Cousins look like a world beater. But again, like I said, in the second half, when they were able to stop the run, and he had to throw the ball, he's gonna give it to you, and that's exactly what he did.
And it looked like he was beating something else.
I'm glad to hear about all of the stuff that everybody said about Eddie Jackson, because I have been hard on him, making career decisions on his tackling and all of that. Mm-hmm. He came up and he made some game-saving tackles, and he's been doing it for the entire year. So I might have to back off him a little bit, but Robert Quinn is stealing money. I keep telling everybody he's going to end up getting traded or given away, and everybody like, oh, y'all should have kept him. No, we should let that old man go and send a couple cigars with him too.
Hey, he said, man.
So there was Jones who was getting thrown on a lot today too. The other rookie who was
you're right.
Well, he's a replacement rookie, right?
Right.
No, right. If we got Jalen Johnson on there, this is an entirely different game.
Yep. But you know what? Something else I saw that I didn't like too. The defense did make some adjustments. And what I saw is, as far as running the ball, they were sealing the edges and forcing them in the middle. They had a little more help. As far as the defensive backs were concerned, I'm looking at the third quarter. It was they threw something to Justin Jefferson. It was 4 DBs back there, and he was at least 5-6 yards in front of him. And I'm like, are they playing bend but don't break? But then every so often, a name that you haven't been hearing as much, but you've been hearing him, is Mr. Jaquan Brisker. Some of them hits that dude is giving up to guys, man, he is laying that wood. But the thing is, they playing too soft. It's almost like he said, it was perfect analogy that you said, Jay. They seem shell shocked. So they were more seem like they were playing more bend but don't break. But when they started getting to the place that Kyler was like, look, y'all already trying to get me benched. I'm a rookie. Y'all forget that. Kyler started, man. Kyler and Eddie Jackson, man, they just started doing the doggone thing. Anytime somebody plays well enough to get Kendall Vildor to get a pick, I ain't mad.
But y'all notice we're talking about the defense. Guess who we're not talking about? The front seven. The front seven. Everything we're talking about is all secondary. The Bears' problem is right now is our front seven. They
got 7 people in the front.
We have one linebacker. The name that gets called, and that's Roquan Smith.
Right.
Nicholas Morrow, and I can't even tell you who the Sam is. I don't even know.
I don't even know his name.
I don't even know his name. Adam, is he on the field?
Might as well not be.
No, I think they have a 10 personnel.
But everybody we talk about on defense is our secondary. Our secondary is our strength. And anytime your secondary is your strength, teams are going to run on you. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Good points all day, John. Good job.
I totally agree with that.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with him too, because I did see Gibson make a couple of plays, and I believe it was it Robinson who blocked that punt with that field goal? I think it was Robinson. So. Yeah, so you getting contribution from them because those other guys are not getting there at all.
Angelo Blackson. None of these guys. I mean, Justin Jones, he's okay. He makes flash plays, and he do make some tackles. But outside of that, our front seven is bad. No, that was he said Gordon blocked that field goal.
Oh, Gordon, okay.
Yeah.
See that we talking about a defensive back. We talking about a defensive
and a corner and a nickel with that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy for him though, man, because I saw a lot of games that he played in college, man. I'm like, who is this kid? And he gets there. People keep thinking that when you're a great college player, if you're a consensus All-American, you play on a top D1 school, that automatically translates to you coming to the league and just being an immediate impact. I would say out of the last 100 DBs, maybe one or two at the most that came out were immediate impact guys. It just seems like for him that he's understanding something that one of you guys mentioned the other day. When he got caught up, he just kept too much. He was looking at the guy. He wasn't looking and watching the quarterback. It just seemed like he's making every time what you have a barometer of is if a guy makes the same mistakes, then you have a plausible point. But it seems like every mistake that Kyler Gordon has made prior to that, he's corrected that. So that's progress. And then today, Justin Jefferson gets 100 yards on anybody. On one-on-one, it ain't nobody in the planet can stick that dude. Shoot, 2-on-1. I mean, but I got to give him credit, man. A rookie out there, and he get to play against some of the great receivers, and he's doing his thing out there. I can't be mad at that.
Okay, Talil Muhammad said, Robinson blocked it, and John did too.
Right.
Yeah, I think what happened originally, they gave credit to Gordon, and I think when they played the replay, they did turn around and say actually it was Robinson who did block that. But kudos to both of them, regardless, because they both were in there giving pressure. And I know we was laughing at when we was texting early in that game, and I was saying the NFL is actually showing 7-on-7 football.
Right.
Because at the first half they were not getting any pressure at all. Kirk Cousins could have just been in practice with the little red, the red
jersey on.
Yeah, with the red jersey, don't hit the quarterback deal. And I had at that point, I was like, if Jefferson keep going at this pace, he was going to have about 250 yards. The way that this game was folded out that first half, but they did make some adjustments. And one thing you have to do with players like Cousin is if you make the game easy for any quarterback, they're going to have a great day. Right, but once that pressure started getting on him, just the pressure of the game itself, not so much of the pass rush. That's when I knew. I was like, yeah, he's going to give us one soon. Like Plank said, he likes to give us a few every game. I mean, I don't know if he played a game without giving us an interception.
Hey, man, I was at work today watching the first half. I was kind of the first half, and I text you guys that Rod Cox was like, has any team –
Did he freeze?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Man, they
froze too. Oh, wait.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Hey, say that again, God. You said 1,000 yards.
Rod was like, we were at work, and Rod said, hey, man, text him, because we were all in the text. He said, text him, ask him, has anybody in the NFL ever had 1,000 yards? Because it seemed like every play that they got, Minnesota, first quarter, 10 yards, 12 yards, 30 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards. I'm like on the radio trying to get to the house. I couldn't watch TV because I'm driving, but I'm listening. I'm like, they haven't got anything less than 10 yards on the last play. And when Kirk Cousins is 17-17.
Well, we gave up over 300 yards in the first half.
Right.
So
Right.
that's unheard of.
And that's with a curve probably too, because it seemed like it was more than that. Because be watching, sort of not be able to watch and listening, I would have swore that Kirk Cousins had about 900 yards in the first quarter.
Well, the worst thing about it, all of the passes that he threw, you could see how open the guys were. They were just sitting there waiting. So it wasn't like he hit them, like he was doing really great quarterback play and hitting them in stride. They were just completely open.
Right.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jay.
No, I was just saying you're right. Everything that he completed in the first half, like I said, they came out that hurry up offense, and I just believe that the Bears were shell shocked because it's like they couldn't get their footing under them because they were just coming out, continue. You know, his first 7 targets went to Justin Jefferson, and they was all completed. So it was just one of the things where he was back in the huddle. And I believe that they were shell shocked. But again, I feel like they made some adjustments in the second half, and which made it into a game. And like Bernard said, it wasn't even the pressure on Cousins on the play. It was like, oh God, we had a 21-3 lead. Now we're down to 21-16. They felt that pressure, and that's when you saw the Vikings get in that mode. And I'm like, okay, Kirk Cousins, he gonna serve it up. Which he always do. And like I say, I'm just mad because Smith Marset took this game from the Bears. That's just I'm gonna say that until the cows come home because I really think that his selfish play on that particular play took the ball out of Justin Fields' hands.
Okay. Hey, now,
we was actually gonna see some greatness.
Do y'all believe watching this game that the fact of how they was being dominated as far as the way the defense was moved the ball, do you believe that had an effect on how this team played eventually? Because in almost every game they played, the score seemed much closer because teams were running on them. And so that's what I thought was a little different today, that Minnesota was a little bit more balanced, but they were actually throwing on them earlier. And it seemed more demoralizing because they had the 21-3 lead at some point. And I wondered, did that play affecting some form of urgency now in the players? Because this is the first time somebody's really just kicking our butts. Do y'all think that had any effect?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think what happened was when they went into halftime, after they scored the touchdown and they was getting the ball back, they was like, okay, you know what? We got a chance. And I believe Eberflus was able to tell them like, hey, y'all, look, we can be in this game. And they came out in the third quarter and they showed that. It's, you know, if this was a veteran team, I think they would be a lot better. But you got these young guys, and you got 26 rookies or free agents, and you know, it shows.
Right.
Okay, what you about to say, Plank?
I was about to say, you know, Eberflus did a good job coming in after halftime because you can see that he tried to impose his will on the rest of the team. So he came out, he was excited when they got to stop. You saw him, shaking his hands and being excited and everything, and it seemed like that's what the team actually responded to as well. So I give him credit for that. However, I'm giving them blame for being in that position in the first place.
Okay. And I saw one replay where Kyler Gordon and Eddie Jackson made a tackle near the goal line, and this Eberflus sprinting down the sideline just to get him a high five. So this team with a little age and seasoning, they're gonna be okay. But again, like I said, we said at the beginning of the year, this wasn't a good team, and they're still not a good team. But they fight, and that's all you can ask for. As long as we're not seeing a 50 burger put up on you every week, and you stay competitive, I'm okay with development because that's what this is. So we'll see what happens.
You know, I'm thinking about that play you described. What's that?
Mentioning Mel Tucker's name.
Say it again.
Every time you're talking about giving up 50 and 60, I see that dude. I'm telling you, man.
Hey, I didn't see the final score yesterday, but with Mel Tucker.
I was just getting ready to say. he gave up a 49.5 burger yesterday.
Right. I was like, that guy used to coach for us. Oh, that's where I know him from. So,
Yeah. Ohio State put 49 on him yesterday.
Oh man. Hey, but that play you mentioned, Jay, one of them where it was Eddie Jackson, I want to say, on that goal line play. Man, it looked like they shot him out of a cannon. I mean, he ran in, dissect that play, and it looked like to me that guy was about to score. And I believe they scored eventually the next play or two or whatever. But Eddie went and got that guy low and got that guy down. I mean, I was very impressed the way Eddie has been putting his head in there, knocking some players out of bounds, getting tackles on open field. But that play right there, then I want to say it was a play on the other side where Caleb Gordon came up, and was it him or Brisker? But they came up and dissected what looked like it was about to be a score, and they knocked the guy back from scoring. And that was very impressive. And what I also see happening is Minnesota finally got smart and realized just run up the middle on the goal line. Why are you running on the edges where the safeties and all in the corners are making plays? Well, all you got to do is this. I think they pushed them at one point. They pushed the whole defensive line almost 3 yards.
Yeah, one thing you can see the defensive backs are using good technique when they're coming up to make the tackles. So, sometimes they're not going to, make the highlight reel tackle. But what they had to do at the very least is get the guy down. And they're doing that. So you can actually one of the commentators actually made a comment that he went for the outside leg and went through the body. I'm talking about Gordon. And that makes all the difference. So you can see that they're being coached and they're doing much better.
I agree.
Yeah. Great point. So hey, let's get down to I know Tammy being a defensive girl. What's your grade for the defense?
So this is what I'm gonna say, and I was waiting to give my grade because I wanted to point something out to y'all. I think that you guys are a little harsh on Roquan Smith unjustly. And I'm going to tell you why, and I was looking up information. Not right now, Roquan Smith is the number 2 tackler in the NFL. He has 46 tackles, 26 solo. The person above him has 54. Everybody in the top 10 who has tackles for loss, nobody, for the most part, only one person has more than 2. Roquan has 2, the number 1 person has 2, only one person has 3. Y'all, all the ones that are in the top 10, Roquan is the only one that has an interception. So I think you guys are a little bit mad because he's asking for his money. So I think that y'all are being a little harsh on his delivery, in my opinion. And also because I think we want him and need him to do more. So you want to see more explosive plays. But it's not that he's not doing his stuff. It's that he don't have enough help. And he can't do it by himself. But I think that he is showing up to play. I think he is making effort. We just are used to seeing him a little bit more dominant because he had more help that he don't have that he don't have right now. So that said, I don't think the defense was super great today. Holistically, I think that they are still missing collectively way too many tackles. They are playing way too loose, letting people get their yards and then coming up to make the tackle. They did do some good things, especially in the second half, that kept us competitive. So I'm going to give them a C-.
Okay, C-. Who else got a grade on the defense?
I give him a C. I give him a C as well. And I'm not too harsh on Roquan. Like I said, he the only linebacker we got, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, we playing out there with 9 players. 4 defensive backs, 4 linemen, and Roquan. and I can't really even count the defensive linemen. So we really out there playing with 4 defensive backs.
Everybody freezing.
Yeah. That's a weird thing today.
Okay, I'll take it. Tammy, as far as your defense of Roquan, I can't really make an argument about anything that you said. So I probably am being a little bit too hard for him. Probably my biggest issue with him is that he went in there trying to negotiate for himself, which I think is a bad move. But I don't have any problem with people getting paid and getting their money or whatever. At the end of the day, it's not my money. I want him to make as much money as he can. For the defense today, I'm giving him a C minus because of that 300 yards in the first half. We can't always say, hey, the defense played a lot better in the second half, so we're going to give them a higher score. No, you got to play for 4 quarters. So, they kind of sucked out there in the first half, and then they picked it up in the second half. So I'm still going to give the defense a C minus. Oh, before I forget, I'm giving special teams a B plus because 3 field goals, and they did pretty stellar special teams play otherwise. So just want to throw that out there.
Okay. Look like we, I don't know if this, look like everybody's spinning. Okay.
These are not.
Jay and Guy are spinning. Everybody else.
Okay. I was wondering, was it just me? Hey, but as far as the defense, I get it. Bears defense. I want to give them a D. I'm gonna give them a C minus because they came alive in the second half. And one thing about when I watch sports, I equally praise people and I equally criticize them. I don't have no favorites other than if it's just a player I just really like. And my criticism of Roquan is what I'm watching and what I'm seeing. I just don't. You can read stats, and I have no argument with Tammy's stats. Right on. When I'm watching that game, it's times when I'm like, is he even playing? It just too many moments like that. But I'm cheering Roquan on, but I'm just saying it's plays where I just don't see it. Their linebackers, other than Roquan, to give them credit, is the only one that's actually making any plays. Look like we dropped 2. Both of them dropped somehow. The Bears.
Well, he needs to get their salaries, and maybe that'll get him where he needs to be. Because they have to steal the money too.
But it's a team sport. Like he can't do it by himself. So when you don't have anybody else shining with you.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just making a point that when you watch a game, that's the deceptive thing sometimes about stats. It's kind of like if you watch boxing.
There you go again.
Okay, can I make a point, Tammy? It's like watching a boxing match. If you watch a boxing match, sometimes you could look at the box scores of punch output, and you could see the guy who load up on punches the last 2 rounds. But if you look at the other 10 rounds, you realize if you watch the fight, he might have lost all those rounds. But if you look at the stats, it looked like it was a close fight. But so that's my only point about that. But I'm going to keep doing regardless of what anybody say until I'm satisfied. That's what I do. I don't mind saying things about a player because I don't have no favorites.
I'm back off punishment. It wasn't me. Whoever it was say should get off Comcast. You call me Nas because I got 4 bars over here. Well, no, things just happen. There's just some type of interference. But with Roquan, something else. But really something that I looked at. I mean, she didn't have to bring the stats up to give me that. For me to see one thing. Think about this. This dude's been playing in a 3-4 defense. He's in a 4-3 defense, so he still really isn't even 100% comfortable, and he's still like the second most tackles. And I understand what you're saying too, Bernard, where it's like not as about the numbers, it's about when you get them and how they are. But I'm not going to dog him out too much. I said it initially, like at the beginning of the season, that with this whole contract situation, the biggest problem was less about him crying about it and more about him making this known to the Bears in April. And they were like, okay, we're going to get to you. And it mulled all the way into the season. So it kind of looks like it's his fault. But I ain't going to get on him too much, man. I mean, as long as he's productive, he's showing up, he's being a professional, I have no beef with Mr. Roquan.
Did you give a grade, guy? Because I know
for the defense, I'm going to get it. Regardless of giving up 20, 21 points, where it is, all in all, I got to give him like a C minus.
C minus? Okay. Did I get everybody grades on the defense?
I know DJ said he's getting hula hooped out there, man.
Who said that?
DJ said he's getting hula hooped out there, man. I'm like, dang.
Hello, where's that at? Oh, right here?
Yeah, right.
Hey, let's move over to the special team. I know Plank already gave the special teams a grade. What you gave, a B minus, Plank? Everybody else got a grade. I get the special teams. They did something special today. They actually blocked. They blocked a field goal. They capitalized on all the field goals. They actually gave the Bears good field position on the times, which ended up making them kicking the ball through the end zone after a while because they was worried about giving the Bears good starting field position. So I get it. Special teams. In fact, I'm gonna give them a B today.
Yeah, I can give them a B too. I can give them a B. Anytime they do something to help you and not hurt you, I mean, there it is. I make it quick, simple. And if we get that turnover on the onside kick, then they would be looking like some rock stars.
What you got, Jay?
No, I was just saying I'm gonna give it a B minus because I just real quick I forgot about the botched onside kick. So I'm going.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to put a minus behind that B. I'm gonna put a minus behind that B.
Oh yeah.
Wait, didn't we get 3 50-yard field goals today? Come on, baby.
Yeah.
So
well, that's individual though. That's Santos. So I give him an A+. I give Santos an A+.
So when Santa Claus delivered gifts, you only talk about the reindeer when you singing the song. They don't mention nothing else. You talk about Santa Claus. So Santos Claus. Santos Claus gets an A squared. The rest of the guys, they get a C. He gets an A. Santos gets an A+. The special teams, I give him like a C+. So it comes out to about
a B.
But ain't that a B?
Pocket kick, 3 50-yard field goals. Come on, man. Y'all rough.
No, but it's just like talk about Michael Jordan. They talk about who the greatest player. In my mind, who the greatest players. I don't even put Michael Jordan in that category. It's like, okay, Michael Jordan. Now, okay, the rest of y'all. Like with the Bears special teams. I mean, if you look at what they've done like the last couple years since Santos Claus came up, really, he's been doing nothing but giving us Christmas gifts all year round.
Okay, hey, Tammy, what was your grade? Oh, Plank, you didn't give a grade when you was talking, did you? Oh, you gave it first early on.
Give him a B+.
B+. You gave a B? Okay, special teams a B. Okay, hey.
Looking like a teacher.
Hey, we'd like to thank everybody who watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Bears Banter. Say the Bears fall to the Vikings today at a game that appeared to be a blowout early on, but ended up turning out to be a very competitive game that actually went down to the Bears' last possession, where a player was stripped. The ball was stripped for him in an effort to try to get out of bounds. So I believe the Bears, with ending this game, they do have something that they could build on to get ready for the game Thursday night against the Washington Commanders.
Another winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
What
is their record?
Oh, I think I don't know what they did today. I don't know if they did today. They probably lost.
I think they like gnaw and gnaw.
So there you go. He loves throwing us the ball. Carson Wentz loves throwing us the ball. So
right.
1-4.
1-4. They 1-4. They lost today. So they lost today. Short week. Bears playing at home. If you got a little bit momentum, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we're gonna be hanging out with you this week at the game, Jay.
Yeah.
That's right. Thursday. Yeah, that's the ticket.
And I was gonna say, I told y'all my brother flying in from Phoenix Wednesday night, so he's gonna be at the game with me Thursday. So yeah, I'm excited. What time you
get there for the tailgate, Jay?
Normally we get there for a 7:00 game, right around 3:30ish. 3:30ish, 4:00.
Are you going in? You gonna go in the game when the game starts, though, right?
Oh yeah. We normally leave to go inside the stadium about a half hour before the game starts.
Okay.
After we pack up everything.
Also,
so we
work until 6.
Yeah, we park in the Waldron deck, which is the parking lot right next to the stadium. Okay. So y'all got my number. Just give me a call. Let me know where y'all at. Y'all can come on over. Get a little food.
Hey, look what they're trying to do, Jay. They're trying to sabotage my Bears experience. I got jury duty that day.
Hey, Bernard, very important. I can get you out of jury duty. What you have to do is tell the judge, I can spot a guilty person anywhere.
A mile away.
Oh man, I'm like, man, hopefully I don't get selected, right? Yeah, this is the last thing I say. The Bears should beat the Commanders without Chase Young. One of the Dante Pettis drops are hurting the offense. Correct. So hey, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning us in today. And when do we want to do the pregame show? I know it's kind of awkward it being a Thursday night game.
I'll be available Wednesday. I don't know if you guys want to do it Wednesday, but I'll be available Wednesday.
Y'all want to shoot for Wednesday? I know it's the day before. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay, thanks everybody for tuning us in. Peace.